Okay. Good morning, everyone. I'm Carol Henderson, Life by Design. We have some really exciting things to talk to you about today. Some training things to design your life so it'll be better in the near future, depending on what happens in the near future. But I'm here with my co-host, Barbara Ellison.
Well, good morning, Miss Carol. Yeah, I'm Barbara Ellison, founder of the Wellness Playroom. And, because wellness is about so much more than just not being sick. It's about being your best self ever, being confident and being active and being just that vibrant. As we age, we do not have to grow old. We can grow older, but we really don't have to grow old. So that's my thing. And I just, I saw a meme, the other day, and it said, my age is the new 30. Doesn't matter what age. It's the new 30. And it's
Amen.
the truth.
Amen.
It's the truth.
Yeah.
How old, are you feeling old because you are telling yourself you're getting old?
Exactly, because you're only as old as you feel. There's an old adage that's been held true for years.
For years. And the thing is, I hear so many, it's like as soon as they hit 60, well, I'm getting old. No, you're not. No, you are not. And all sorts of, like, I really notice it. I guess just because I refuse to do it. I am really noticing that so many seniors, oh, that's just, getting old is tough. No, it's not. No, it's not.
It's better than the alternative.
It's,
Well, I don't know. If you're a believer, it may not be better than the alternative.
Well, exactly. It's, but one of my favorite sayings that I heard and now I don't even remember who it was, so I can't even remember to give them kudos of who said it. But the only difference between a grave and a rut is the depth.
Well, and the length.
Or the length, yeah. Because people, what are you doing to keep active?
Yes.
What are you doing to learn something new?
Yes.
Doesn't matter what it is. Doesn't matter what it is. And that's like we talk about motivation all the time. Well, what are you motivated about? Well, if you're sitting around watching TV or watching, even worse, watching the news, all you are hearing is the negative things that are going on in the world. And you're spiraling down. Well, you know what? One of the things that one of our researchers said, he said, people, you know what? Our body is made up of 37.2 trillion cells. Mm-hmm. And he says it all the time. Remember, all 37.2 trillion cells are listening to what you are saying.
And to your thoughts, but more so to your thoughts.
Mm-hmm. But more so your words. And I mean, Carol and I, we bring this up at least every couple of weeks.
Well, and that's we even call each other on our words, going, you can't use that word. I was always saying, oh, somebody say da 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 da. Oh, no problem. And Barbara's, you can't say that anymore because your mind doesn't hear the no, it doesn't hear the not, and those negative words, your mind doesn't hear it. It just hears like, don't go in the street. Well, your mind doesn't hear don't. And so your mind hears go in the street. And we wonder why the little kids that were saying, don't do this and don't do that, go and do it. It's because their minds don't hear it. They don't hear the don't.
They don't hear the don't. And our brain does not hear that don't.
Mm-hmm.
Or like one of my things right now is, no worries. Mm-hmm. Stop saying that. Stop saying it, because your brain does not hear the no. Mm-hmm. So you're just worried. All you're is hearing the worry.
Well, and we brought up some stuff last time we were with you. We were talking about heat and how to stay cool in the heat.
Yeah.
But we're going to go a little deeper on a little bit of a bunny trail from that, but it's not a bunny trail because it's something that we talked about. We want every one of you to know. If you read the news, or
Yeah.
and I don't mean just the mainstream stuff that's negative, 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 and riot after riot, but it is predicted with the heat we're having that there will be a lot of blackouts or rolling blackouts.
The rolling
Now,
blackouts.
Texas did the snowpocalypse the other, few months ago, which was the same thing, just on a cold day instead of hot day. It's the only difference. Rolling blackouts, the grid goes down for whatever reason. Um, and that reason can be natural, weather, political. I mean, there's lots of different things to say about that.
Exactly. And we're not going to go down the political
No,
because,
we're
you
not.
know what? However, there are some legitimate things of things that are going on right now. Like I
Mhm.
was just reading in the this as we were talking about, gee, what are people going to do with all these blackouts? Like just like right now, Indiana, they're talking rolling blackouts. Well, what are you going to do? Ohio's going to be having rolling blackouts. I know here that my lights go dim. We
Mhm.
don't go
That's a
out
brownout.
the brownout,
Mhm.
but they do go dim. Well, how is that going to affect like businesses,
Day-to-day
medical,
life. Mhm.
day-to-day life? So that's what we're going to talk about today.
And
You know?
I was reading the other day, doing some research, and it only takes 9. Okay. Think how many hundreds of substations there are across the US, because other than Texas, the US grid is one big grid. Texas has its own grid. Okay. But the US has a big grid, and I think maybe even goes up into Canada. I'm not quite sure on that. But think how many substations. A substation is, you may have 2 or 3 in your town, depending on the size of your town.
Right.
It only takes 9 of those, 9 of those to take the whole grid down. If 9 go down,
Right.
that's a lot. I mean, that's not many to cause a lot of damage.
Right.
So, what are you doing to prepare for if and when that grid goes down? So, we have a few tips for you today, um, some simple ones. And Barbara has a list. We'll go back and forth talking on the list. But what do we do about these things, Barbara?
Make sure that number one, keep your phone charged. And I have to admit, I quite often let it go down all the way to the end, where it's like you've got like a sliver. So keep your phones charged. Have some other kind of charging device.
Yes.
Have
Yes.
it,
And I didn't bring one down.
something that doesn't run on electricity.
You've got those little power banks you can get. I was actually given one, a cute little one that's pink wrapped with my name on it, that I got as a Christmas present from a board that I sit on. But then they have the ones, I think they're called the Patriot backup battery things.
Yeah.
And you can charge them, and you can solar charge them.
Right.
And run things off of it. There are little solar charger banks that you can get. Be sure to research it. Some are good, some are not worth the shipping. So research it well. Do not go cheap on those if that's what you're doing. I would not suggest doing your whole house on solar. Very costly. May or may not work. Okay, so I am not promoting that. Been there, done that. So just so you know, I'm not just talking out of my hat on this. But that's one of the things is keeping things charged. One other tip on your refrigerator and freezer, you keep it closed. Don't be going and look. I mean, how many times a day do you open your fridge and look in it?
Right.
During a blackout or a brownout, do not do that. Your refrigerator and freezer will stay for the most part, most of them. Okay. I can't say across the board because different freezers and refrigerators are different. Those they had in the 50s, some of those are still running and doing great. the ones that were bought last year, some are not doing great.
Exactly.
It depends on your refrigerator. But you can run them if you have a small generator, you can run them an hour a day. Plug it in for an hour a day. And if you're not getting it into it all the time, it will keep your food frozen slash cold. 1 hour. So, that's a tip for if the grid goes down. Okay. Right. Another thing is water. How will you get water if there's no grid? Because everything is on electronics nowadays. It's, you may have the big water tower in your town, but they don't always work on gravity feed like they did back in the day.
Right. And you can't go turn on a tap, to get water. So just be proactive. Because when you have a sudden power outage, if you have done nothing, then you're stuck.
You panic.
You panic. What are we going to do? Yeah. And so just they're getting, and it's unfortunate, but they're getting to be more prevalent. They're getting to be more common. Yeah. Because of heat waves or because of winter storms, other natural disasters.
Well, and because more of us are sitting in our
hurricanes,
houses watching TV. When we researched the heat the other day, the first thing on the list on how to escape the heat or how to take care of yourself during heat was go in a refrigerated building or go in an air-conditioned building. It's like, that's not going to serve you well, especially if the power goes down.
If it goes out. So
we were talking about that when we were talking about doing this show. Let's lay out a map. Let's think, if nothing more, think about it. What would I do if this? What would I do with that? How would I plan this? And so that's what Barbara and I were talking about, and that's why we decided to come to you with these things.
Because both of us, I mean, even though we live in totally different areas of the country, I mean, I'm up here in northern Illinois, but it's hot. It's hot for us. Carol, of course, lives in Texas, where it's next degree of hot. But anyways, one of the things is, just have an emergency kit. Just a preparedness.
I've got to say something real quick about the hot. You've heard about frying an egg on the sidewalk. The other day during it's cooled off a little bit. We're only pushing 100 right now, but the other day, and I don't think it was the 108 day. I think it was cooler, but who knows? But Keith said, let's do some hamburgers or steak. We did a lamb steak on the grill. So he grilled the sweet potatoes because we were keeping the heat out of our house. We weren't going to turn our oven on to cook sweet potatoes because it was so hot already. Why add? So anyway, and so he did the sweet potatoes, and I had the unopened Crayovac lamb steak sitting on the grill, next to the grill, not on a heater or anything like that. And I walked by and looked, and it had thawed out, and the meat juices, how they're in that plastic, they had started cooking. They had started turning solid colors just from being outdoors. I told Keith, he said, and so he opened it and got it on the grill right away.
Well, you know what? I think we're going to have to do an experiment. I think if you put a metal frying pan out in the sun, I think I'm just totally, I've never tried that. No, I'm going to have to try that.
Well, especially a cast iron pan with a glass lid.
With a lid.
Yeah. Because there are ovens you can buy. I have a friend that has one that uses the solar reflection to cook with. It's a whole oven, and it's really fun. We went over and had brisket with them one day. It was wonderful.
See, there are alternatives. Anyways,
yes.
So we've already talked about keep your cell phone charged. Keep some water. Get some plastic jugs, containers.
Yes.
just be
And
prepared. a little
rotate
bit.
them. You don't want them
And
just
rotate.
sitting in those plastic containers.
All right.
And I will tell you, those milky colored ones, the milky white,
Right.
don't use milk jugs unless you clean them very, very well with bleach, or you'll have sour milk. I mean, sour water.
Sour water.
But you want a clear plastic milk jug. Those others, the taste gets really yucky.
Mhm.
But I've got something even better, and Barbara and I both have one of these. This is a little
Yes.
water jug. You can literally go, and I'll put a video about this in the
Yes, I've
comment.
watched that video. It's
Isn't that
disgusting,
cool?
but it
You
works.
yeah, but you can go scoop up pond water, and it opens. And we use these when we travel, because you
Yes.
can take it to the airport empty, fill it up out of a faucet, and drink good purified water. And it's amazing. If you drink your water just out of this on a daily basis, you feel better, because a lot of yuck is not getting in your body. But these are
Right.
great. They're yeah. I'll put a link for these in the description.
Yeah.
But I wanted to.
That's a good idea. I forgot last time I traveled by plane. I forgot it.
That's
But yeah,
right.
I drink filtered water every day.
Mhm. But this is a good
Unless I'm
alternative. It
out
takes
somewhere, but
nothing to, well, I even take it into restaurants. If they don't have bottled water in the restaurant, I'll take it
Yeah.
in and just get
Yeah.
regular water.
Yeah.
For that very reason. I don't want the chlorine. That chlorine will kill out the
right.
bacteria in your stomach that's good for you. So, but yeah, and think about it. If you don't have power and you have an electric stove, how are you going to cook anything? If you have a gas stove, you're okay. Unless you have an electric igniter, you better have one of those little clicker things and a way
Right.
to light the stove.
Right.
But yeah, there's so many things. And in this time of the year, you want to do things like we did, cooking outside, to prevent heating up your house.
And make sure one of the big things, they're all big things. But one of the things too is make sure you keep your gas tank pretty full.
Mm.
And like I heard one time is that there are certain things to do when you're getting gas. Like don't get your gas in the heat of the day.
Mhm.
It adds more to the pollution of the planet. Don't let your tank go less than half full. And I try very hard not to do that. To fill up when you get to half, fill up.
Mhm.
Just because you're in your tank itself, your gas doesn't evaporate. So you're saving money by filling up more often.
And early in the morning when it's cool,
And
it's
early in the
more
morning.
dense, and so you'll get more gas for your money.
Yeah.
Early
Yeah.
in the morning. And now that's so important. That is, but stop and think. If the power goes down,
You don't get gas at all.
won't work.
Exactly.
So keep your tank full. If you have a place to safely have 5 or 10 gallons sitting outside somewhere in a closed container so no dirt gets in it, then do it, because you never know, and you don't know how long they're going to last. That thing here in Texas last year, well, a pastor at a very large church who was well prepared, it was so bad that they were having to break ice out of their outdoors, out of the pool, to bring in to wash dishes and stuff with, because they had no power and it was cold. And so you can bundle up, but only so much. You couldn't go to a hotel because all the hotels were already full. And it lasted 11 days. Now, that won't affect your refrigerator and freezer too much. Because if
it depends on your season.
it depends on your
like I can remember one time as a kid, we just knocked the big power plant. And that's so like I live near Montreal, and the big power plant is called Beauharnois. And that power plant, some of the power into the US, into New York and stuff, comes from us, from Beauharnois. And it just was down for the count. and it was down for like 3 weeks. We didn't have power for 3 weeks.
Well, Auckland, New
And
Zealand was out.
luckily
Yeah.
but luckily we had a fireplace. So my mom cooked in the fireplace. We lived in the living room.
Yes, and block off, if it's cold, you can block
Yeah.
off all the rooms, move all the pallets and sleep on the floor in front of the fireplace, because power could go out anytime, anywhere.
Right. And
The
on the
people,
other side of that, saying exactly the same thing in heat, you don't need to air condition your entire house.
right. Yeah,
If
you have a
they're
way to
doing
cut
rolling
things off,
blackouts,
yeah.
just close the vents, so it's like there's all little things that you can do to be prepared. So
Right.
that's what we're talking about.
And
Just
we're
be
not
prepared.
saying suffer so that everybody else can, we're saying, what do you do when it happens? The
Right.
people in Auckland, New Zealand, their power went down, I think. Don't hold me to this. You'd have to research it. It was about 5 or 10 years ago. And Auckland is like New York as far as size and people and high rises. They went without power for, it was either 2 weeks or 2 months. Long time. No elevators. The windows did not open because it was so, they were in high rises. It was no sewage. The toilets wouldn't flush. The trash didn't get picked up. It can really, and I guess I'd have to say maybe summer would be worse because of the fact that you can only take off so many clothes.
Right.
And
you can put on in the winter.
Yeah. We talked about that the other day, that about loose fitting clothes and stuff like that. But the other thing is your food storage. And Barbara was talking about meals ready to eat. And those are called MREs. They're a military grade. They are very high in carbohydrates. They're about 1,200 or 1,500 calories per meal. Because they're made for soldiers that are out doing active things and really working, and they don't taste very good either. So every one of them has a little thing this big of Tabasco sauce in them, every single one, so that you can spice it up and get it down.
Boy, I would be up a creek. I don't do Tabasco.
But we have a great alternative that both of us have, that's wonderful. And we'll put a link for that in here too. But it's the Zalevo Ultra 30. Now, you may have your own protein shake that you drink, and that's wonderful. But look at the back. Number one, how many grams of protein do they have? Because protein is going to be better for you than fat or carbs in this situation. You want to keep your body going, keep your body motivated. Excuse me. And this one has 30 grams of totally bioavailable protein. So that's 2 scoops. This one little bag is 15 meals. Okay. Now, we tend to drink this twice a day because we like it and we feel good, and it nourishes your body. And I would challenge everybody that watches us, give this a try. We have a money back guarantee on it. Okay. So if you try it, and
can I brag on myself for a moment? It's our show. I guess I can. Huh? Anyway, I have a smart. Because we're going to run out of time anyways. So I have a smart scale, and so it keeps track of all sorts of other things and not just your weight. And so every once in a while, like maybe a month or so, I'll get on it and do the whole reading. Well, yesterday I went on, I just want to see what my progress was. Well, in the last month, when I first got on the scale, I went, oh yeah, I've only lost 3 pounds. I thought, wow, what do you mean only lost 3 pounds? Well, I don't care about the fact that I only lost 3 pounds. Only is out of my vocabulary now, because when I looked at the comparison, I have more muscle mass. Muscle weighs so much more than body fat does. So that's why it was only 3 pounds, but boy, it has nothing to do with the pounds lost. So my muscle mass went up, my bone mass went up.
And both of those are hard to maintain, let alone grow
Huge.
up at an older
I'm
age.
72. To be gaining bone mass, that's unheard of.
Yes.
But the one that really excited me was that my overall body fat went down. That's why my clothes are starting to, that people are noticing, gee, Barbara, you losing weight. Yes, as a matter of fact, yes, I am. But I'm not really losing weight. I'm losing inches.
Mhm.
That is what is the important part of it. And plus, I have to admit, my body feels good
Mhm.
because
Okay.
it's getting enough protein and that kind of stuff. So
Okay, but we need to tell y'all how you can do that, because this is not a product show. But this right here in your food storage, it's something you can drink every day and rotate. It'll be fun. They're very good. It's like eating ice cream. Okay. So they're very good. And you can even make it like ice cream. I do, where it's just thick and I have to eat it with a spoon.
yes,
But all you mix it with is water. You don't have to eat so many shakes. You have to do all kinds of things in them to get them to taste good enough to go down. This one does not, but more than anything, 30 grams of protein. And that right there is something that will be very valuable if you have a power outage and if you have it for longer than, well, any
where
time.
you can't get good food, where you can't
All
get
you have
good
to
food.
do is put some water in this and stir
Yeah,
it.
and you're done.
Yeah, and you're done. And so that right there, make sure you have things on hand that don't have to be heated. They don't have to be cooked. They can be just stirred up. And I even have, I have some plastic cups, some plastic silverware around so that I don't have to wash it if
Right.
anything like this were to happen. And it
Right.
doesn't take lots of space. I mean,
Mm.
this right here, 14 meals. Okay. And the vitamins and stuff are all in it. 14 meals. And it, look how small. I mean, it's not a size. I mean, I don't care if you're in an apartment, you can have room for one of these, or 2 or 3 or 10. Okay. So those are our tips for the blackouts that we all
This is
know
the
is coming.
season. This is
Yeah.
the season. It's coming.
Yeah. We all know it's coming, and more and more people are using electricity. More and more people are using it unwisely. I mean,
Yes.
when we were kids, we were just hounded, or I was anyway. Turn off the lights. Turn off the
Oh,
lights.
yes.
Don't leave the
Oh,
lights
yeah.
running. Well, how
Yeah.
many people do that now?
Oh, yeah.
It's like just they leave the lights on and they come,
Yeah.
or so
And then go away for a week.
yeah. I don't want to pay their electric bill. But, and think how many more restaurants we have, how many more 24-hour restaurants we have, how
Yes.
many gas stations we have that have lights on 24/7 bright, so you feel comfortable getting out of your car at them.
Right. When you think about it, we can see the outline of the continents because of the lights along from space.
Yeah. Those maps are so much fun.
From space, you can see the lights of the earth.
Yes. So, and we're not saying don't use electricity. We're not saying don't do anything. We're saying make you a
Just
little
be prepared.
mental map
Be wise.
or a
Be
written
wise.
map. Do we have flashlights? I don't think we even got to that.
Oh, I don't think we got that. No.
Flashlights with batteries, fresh batteries. Do we have lanterns? And one of
Have
the
you
things
tested the batteries?
Yes, and tested your lanterns and all the flashlights and know where they are. Have some candles around. Candlelight's wonderful. Barbara was reading the list and it says only battery operated lanterns. And I said, well, I'm going to call BS on that one. you know,
Yeah.
and she said, well, it says that a kerosene lantern can start a fire. Well, yeah, so can a match, so can a
Yeah.
candle,
Candle.
so can so many things.
Yeah.
But,
So
you
be,
know,
yeah, be
if people
proactive.
lived with kerosene lanterns, the Amish still do. I mean, it is so cool to want to drive through their part of the country in the evening and at night and see that beautiful warm glow of the gas lanterns out of their homes. It really
Yes,
is
exactly.
a peaceful light. And they do have like piped
Right.
natural gas in a lot of the homes. But you know, I mean, whatever kind of lantern you have, yes, battery is probably, I mean, when my boys were little and they went camping, we got the ones with the big square battery in it, and each one of them had their own little lantern and stuff. But that was a situation, little kids knocking over a lantern. Now, you know, we did have the kerosene ones that you hang out on the tree and stuff like
Right.
that. But you know, be practical. Don't be, I'm sorry, I don't like this word, but don't be stupid.
Yeah.
If it's dark and all you have is kerosene lantern, light that sucker up.
Use it.
So
Hey, we kind of tell it like it is, you know.
yeah, you know, so yeah.
Yeah. And just the biggest thing, like preparation beats panic anytime.
Yes. And there's a whole prepper movement and stuff, and I'm not anywhere against it. I've watched some of the different people that talk about it. People would probably call us that because we have batteries and flashlights and meals. our brand of meal ready to eat. But
Yeah.
it tastes good. But call me a prepper all you want. I'm gonna be okay when the power goes down. I'm going to be okay with, you know, it may not be fun. It may not be something I just, you know, but as you know, I mean, we didn't turn on our air conditioner until after the garage sale because I wanted to be acclimated to that outdoor temperature, which is a good thing I was because it was over 108. So
yes, exactly. So
so
anyways,
we turned it on. It's like Keith's going, it is so hot outside. It's only like 98, 99. It's just so hot outside. It's just brutal. I'm like, Keith, it was more than 10 degrees hotter. But we didn't have the house air conditioner on at the time. And so it's more noticeable.
More noticeable.
So
Exactly.
it's all what you're acclimated to.
Yep. So anyways, everybody, thank you for listening.
Yes,
welcome to the show. And you'll tell your friends if you like, if you heard even one thing that you can use, then we've done our job.
Amen. And we'll stick the links for these things down in. So
yeah. So absolutely.
Yeah.
Anyways, Carol, we'll talk to you later.
Okay. Bye.
Have a good one, everyone. Bye-bye.